What's up, gamers? It's the One Jame, and today we're using Urz's AI to turn some of your favorite Generation 2 Pokemon into Magic the Gathering cards. Crystal version has always been my favorite Pokemon game growing up, so I thought to give this a try using Pokemon introduced in Generation 2. This should be a fun one, so let's get started. First up, we have Chikurita. It's a 1 and a green for an XX power and toughness. It is a plant beast. Chikurita's power and toughness are each equal to the number of lands you control. Wow, that is a busted 2-mana card. It's always a 2-mana 2/2 unless you Mr. Lynch on turn 2 and you have like a Llanowar Elves or something. But regardless, it is going to be a 4/4 and a 5/5. This is like a mini Tarmogoyf of a Chikurita here. When Chikurita evolves into Bayleaf, it is a 2 green for a 3/3 plant beast. Whenever a creature deals damage to a player, destroy that player. Oh my. That is busted, instantly ban-worthy. Destroying the player whenever a creature deals damage to a player, not even this creature. The card's absolutely busted, and it is the most unassuming plant that you've ever seen. And they've never encountered the quality of natural law in the life of a human. And for the final evolution of the Chikurita line is Meganium. It's 2 green for a 5-mana 5/5 plant dinosaur. It has Defender, and as long as Meganium is equipped, it can block an additional creature this turn. And it wakes up each morning to groom its whiskers, waiting for nightfall. I don't know if Meganium necessarily likes the nighttime, but it might need to borrow some power from Chikurita and Bayleaf. The next line of starters starts with Cyndaquil for a 1 and a red elemental mouse. It is a 1/1 with flying. 1 and a red Cyndaquil gets +1/+0 till end of turn. I don't know if it needs the flying, because I don't know if I've ever seen a Cyndaquil fly, but hey, we have a flying mouse with Cyndaquil. Okay. Some take the blue darts and more take the red one. Here we have Koalava, a 2 red 2/2 elemental rat. It maintains the +1/+0 till end of turn, but it gets a little bit cheaper. I kind of like this design. It maintains the same fire-breathing technique, and the art kind of represents Koalava quite a bit. And for the last of the evolution, perhaps my favorite starter, Typhlosion, 2 red for a 5-mana elemental rat. Look at that art. When Typhlosion enters the battlefield, it deals 2 damage to each creature. For 5-mana 3/3, that's pretty good. And the rat flees from his sick and sages the moment comes caught in the rat maze. Here we have the first starter for the archetype. We have Totodile, 1 and a blue for a 1/1 Crocodile. When Totodile enters the battlefield, return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. Has very good utility for a 2-mana creature. When the last sign of bloodshed is signs, take that sign as well. Next up is Crokeyz, a 4-mana 3/3 crocodile, very scary under the water there. When Crokeyz deals damage to a player, return that many cards from your graveyard to your hand. Wow, that is a really good value entry. Deal 3 damage, return 3 cards from your graveyard to your hand. That is broken. It keeps up the battle on the other side of the border, bringing weapons to hand. Alright, it brings the weapons from the graveyard back to the hand. The flavor is on point. And here we have Feraligatr. It's so hungry it's biting off the left side of the card here. The 5-mana 3/3 crocodile. When Feraligatr enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Not bad for a limited, but definitely not as good as Crokeyz at all. Hoot evolves into Noctal. I have it as a 2 black/white, is a bird wizard, a 2 flyer that taps to add black mana. The flavor text is knocked up here. The Noctal's making a little subtle dad joke there. I love it. Next up is Spinarak. It is a 2-mana 2/2 spider. It is green-black with reach. That's all. 2-mana 2/2 reach spider. Pretty strong, actually. This art is amazing, too. She walks on the red earth of Balaged, where spiders crawl over it. Spinarak evolves into Ariados. We have a 2 green-black 3/4 spider with reach. I don't know what to say about the artwork, but it is a little bit of spider-y. Maybe it has a cape or whatever that is. Next up is Crobat, introduced in Generation 2, evolution of Golbat. It is a 5-mana, 3 double black for a 3/3 bat with flying. Crobat enters the battlefield, exile target card from a graveyard, and then you can tap it, return Crobat to its owner's hand. That's some really good flavor. Return it back to the hand, cast it back again, exile a card from a graveyard. Next up is Chinchou, the elemental fish. It is a blue-white 2/2 with flash and flying. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, target player gains control of Chinchou. So I guess you could just target yourself when you cast a non-creature spell, but maybe in some cases you want your opponent to have it. But that is a pretty neat card. A 2-mana 2/2 for blue-white that also has flash and flying is really strong. Chinchou evolves into Lantern, is a 4-mana blue-white 3/3 elemental fish with flash and flying. Once more, keeping it from Chinchou. And you can use a 1 and a white and sacrifice Lizard. Target creature gains flying until end of turn. So, the elemental fish pair well with lizards apparently, but I like that Lantern keeps Chinchou's flash and flying. A 4-mana 3/3 flash flying is very strong. Next up is Pikachu's baby, Pichu. 1 white for a 1/1 elemental mouse with flash, and when Pichu enters the battlefield, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Very strong 1-drop. She leads the Unruly with a triumphant roar. We have Cleffa as a 1 white 1/1 beast. When Cleffa attacks, other creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. This is broken for a 1-drop. The first words of the disaster story of Niv Mizzet, the griffin who saved Ulamog's house. Next up is Igglybuff. Isn't Igglybuff supposed to be really cute? This art is very disturbing. 1-mana 2/2, which is crazy for a beast. 2 and a white Igglybuff gains flying until end of turn. A 1-mana 2/2 that can gain flying for any amount of mana is very, very strong. He calls the Simic's mind to understand their true selves. Togepi's evolution Togetic is a 4-mana 2/2 egg bird, and I must say, this is my favorite art so far. It does have flying. When Togetic enters the battlefield, return up to 1 target creature card with flying. Returns it. Doesn't turn to the hand, doesn't return it back to anywhere else, just returns it. Next up is Natu, a white-black 2/2 for a bird wizard with flying. Pay 1 and a white, sacrifice Natu, search your library for a card named Natu, put it on the battlefield, then shuffle. Wow, this card is broken card advantage. I want to play with this card. You just play 4 Natus in your deck and keep getting them all out every turn unless they die. When Natu is held by a rat, it comes to life and turns to flame. Alright, don't hold Natu with a rat or else they'll all light on fire. Next up is Natu's evolution Zatu, 4-mana 2/2 Orzhov bird wizard. With flying, when Zatu enters the battlefield, target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Don't know what this picture is depicting here, but it's next to a mountain clouds, and I guess that little thing there is the Zatu. 1 bite is all it needs to end the game. Next up is Merrel, is a red-white elemental beast. There is no lamb or sheep magic, so I'm going with beast for this one. Elemental because of the lightning. It is a 2/2, and at the beginning of your upkeep, Merrel deals 1 damage to each creature and each player. After I get it down, we can all have a nice rest. Prologue Drone Captain. We're going to skip Flaffy and on to Ampharos. It's a 3-mana plus red plus white, 5-mana 3/3 elemental beast. Protection from red. You can tap it to have Ampharos gain flying. Next up is Oddish Gloom and Vileplume's evolution Bellossom, 5-mana 3/3 plant, 3 and double green. If a source you control would deal damage to Bellossom, prevent 1 of that damage. You can pay 4 mana, 2 double green, and tap it, and exile target card from your graveyard. It's a utility plant creature. If a bridge would deal no damage to a permanent, prevent that damage. Next up is Merrel, the elemental mouse. It is a 2-mana X1. Merrel's power is equal to the number of cards in all graveyards. My goodness, this could be a 2-mana 9/1. Very, very easily. Very broken card. Next, we have the evolution of Merrel, Azumarill, 2 and a blue for a 2/2 elemental rabbit with flash. When Azumarill enters the battlefield, target creature gains flash until end of turn. It looked like a rabbit, so it didn't eat any bears. Next up is Politoed, the evolution of... I guess it's not an evolution of Poliwrath, it's an evolution of Poliwhirl. A 4-mana, double blue, 3/3 flash frog. When Politoed enters the battlefield, each opponent draws cards equal to the greatest power among cards in all graveyards. Oh my, that's a pretty significant drawback. It's a 4-mana 3/3 flash, though, and the acuity of the frog. Next up is Hoppip, the green-white 2/2 plant beast. Whenever Hoppip attacks, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Really good 2-drop. Next, we're going to skip the evolution and jump straight to Jumpluff. Is a 5-mana 3/3 3-green-white for a plant beast with flash. When Jumpluff enters the battlefield, target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. The fungus's poisonous spines make it very dangerous. Next up is a really chill-looking Aipom. 2 and a white for a 2/2 monkey. Whenever Aipom blocks or becomes blocked by a creature, destroy that creature at end of combat. That is a pretty good ability. The Aipom phrase means tomorrow, today, or it. Next up is Sunkern, a 2-mana 2/2 for red-green, because it has the sunny theme, red-green. Beginning of your upkeep, Sunkern deals 1 damage to each creature and each player. Amazing 2-drop. The Deacon, more sunk to be of aid to us in this struggle. The once fallen and lost of their former realm is still one of the few remaining. Next up, the evolution of Sunkern Sunflora is a 4-mana red-green 0/3 plant that taps to add rule mana. 4-drop that adds 2 mana to ramp yourself up into 6 and 7 drops faster than normal. Let the wind of the forest reach us. Its waves are soft. They will drown us in their song. Cheek Martial Epic. Next up is Yanma, the white-green 1/1 insect with flying. Whenever Yanma deals damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on Yanma. Pretty strong for a flyer. You can see this getting out of hand. In case the wise rule is violated, stop flying and bite the mouth of the smelly one. Next is Wooper. I don't know what's going on in the art there, but we have a Dimir 2/3 for 2 with flying, 1 and a blue, scry 1. The Swallow returned the Phyrexian Standardook to the Orthogon. Wooper evolves into Quagsire, the 4-mana 4/4 for 2 and Dimir for an elemental fish with flash and flying. So 4-mana 4/4 flash flying is super strong. I don't know why Quagsire would have flying, but here we are. Whenever you cast your first spell during your first upkeep, sacrifice Quagsire. Well, I honestly can just tell you straight up that that's never going to happen. Unless you cast this card somehow or get it on the battlefield during your first upkeep. A difficult trick can hide a fool's trick. Here is Espeon, looking exactly like the Pokemon itself, is a 4-mana double white 3/3 with flying. Whenever Espeon attacks, if you control another creature with flying, draw a card. Very strong ability. A priest knows the ritual words for life, and one is ready to help. Next is Espeon's evolution friend, Umbreon, looking strikingly like the card itself again. 2 black for a 3/3 cat wizard with flash. When Umbreon enters the battlefield, exile target creature card from a graveyard. Seems like something that an Umbreon would do. I would definitely see this card actually being printed. Next up is Murkrow. The art looking exactly like a Murkrow. 1 black, 1/1 bird wizard with flying. Pay 2 and a black and sacrifice Murkrow to return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Very good utility 1-drop in black. Its Jovals are vicious little pests. Next is Slowking, what I would imagine one would look like in real life here in the art. 5-mana 3/3 Dimir Beast Wizard. Whenever Slowking attacks, you may draw a card. Decent ability. Some do not move well, yet 1,000 feel no unease. That seems perfect for a Slowking, also not moving well. Next up is Misdreavus, a 1 and a black 1/1 spirit with flying. A 1 and a black, sacrifice Misdreavus, target player discards a card. That also sounds like something that Misdreavus would do in a Magic card. Misdreavus doesn't eat, but it makes his victims laugh. Perhaps the most interesting of the Pokemon, Unknown. I made it a 1 colorless mana legendary artifact creature shapeshifter. Shifts into a whole bunch of different letters of the alphabet. It is 2 and tap. Target creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. It is an 0/1 creature. Other creatures, I guess including itself. The flavor text here is the best I've ever seen. You're welcome. Next we have Wobbuffet, is a 4 mana blue-black 3/4, and hear me out here, I made it a horror because of the black tail looking a bit menacing. Wobbuffet can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. Some argue it can be destroyed by phasing a thing out of the weather itself. Next up is Pineco, the 1 green 0/1 plant. You can tap it to add red mana, so it is a mana dork. It is a Llanowar with 0 power that taps for red. First off, don't laugh at the potato sellers. They're only doing their jobs. Next is Gligar, an Orzhov 2 mana 1/1 insect nightmare with flying. You can tap it to destroy target creature with power 2 or less. Wow, you don't even need to sacrifice Gligar to do that. You can just keep doing that. This is an obscenely powerful card. Broken card. And it hadn't flown long when it broke away. Next up is Steelix, an 8 mana artifact creature worm golem as an 8/8. As long as you control a worm, Steelix gets +3/+3. So could be an 8 mana 11/11. In our wars, we honor our ancestors. In our battles, we follow their teachings. Here is Snubbull, a red-white 2/2 dog, generic-looking dog, I would say, in the picture. Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, Snubbull gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So I guess that would signify it gaining matter and matter, right? Next up is Quillfish, looking a little bit like a Quillfish in the art here. It is a blue-black 2/2. Whenever Quillfish deals damage to a player, exile that player's graveyard. And here is one of my favorites, Shuckle, and the right-hand side of the picture looks disturbingly exactly like a Shuckle. It is a blue-green turtle as a 2/2 with flash. 2 mana 2/2 flash is very good. Let's see the ability. 4 blue and green. Shuckle becomes a token that's a copy of another creature you control until end of turn. Wow, that's a very interesting card. I like this card. The small crow in the middle of the sea looks hungry. Here is Heracross, the 4 mana double green 3/3 insect warrior. And it strikingly looks like a beetle, so it's right. The AI is doing a good job on this one. Whenever you cast a creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Heracross. Very good ability. I could see it having this in a real-life Magic card. What do you expect from a thing so small? Next up is Sneasel, the 3 mana Dimir 3/3 beast rogue with flash. Wow, 3 mana 3/3 flash. When Sneasel enters the battlefield, put target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. Wow, this is a great card. The wisest wizards would have sneaked away for their retirement. Here is Teddiursa, exactly like I think Teddiursa would be in real life, very aloof and upside down. It is a 1 white, 1/1 bear. As long as you control your goat, you'll feed him at any time. Next up is Slugma, 1 and a red, 2/2, the perfect time for us to create an elemental slug. When Slugma enters the battlefield, destroy target artifact. Very useful card. My forces are hungry. What do we have left to feed them? I can see Slugma just engulfing an artifact, metal, and just completely melting it to where you can't see it anymore, and it consumes the artifact. Very nice flavor on this one. Slugma evolves into Magcargo, and isn't this the cutest little Magcargo you've ever seen in your life? It is a 2 red, red, 0/0 elemental slug. Magcargo enters the battlefield with a 1/1 counter on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, remove a +1/+1 counter from Magcargo. Oh. Wow, that is a pretty significant drawback. It might kill itself, but here we are. It won't be easy to find its territory, but it will be a challenge to hunt it down. Next up is Corsola, the 1 and a blue 1/1 artifact creature elemental. I made it an artifact creature because it is floral, so it's been building up over time, kind of like an exoskeleton. And that's 1 and a blue. Tap it to tap target artifact creature. A little bit niche, but it could work in an artifact creature deck. The steel is rust, the skin is rust, the wings are rust, the heart is rust, and the soul is rust. Here we have Skarmory, the 4-mana artifact creature bird. It's a 2/2 flyer with pay 4 mana to have Skarmory get +1/+0 till end of turn. What do we call this? Bird breathing? The mirror strikes even the tallest. Here we have Hondor, the Rakdos 2/2 elemental dog. Hondor can't be blocked by more than one creature, so it's reverse menace here on Hondor, and this picture is strikingly similar to what Hondor would look like, so I'm proud of the AI on this one. Next, for Houndor's evolution, Houndoom, a 5-mana 5/4 Rakdos elemental dog with haste. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice a creature unless you discard a card. A little bit of a drawback, but 5-mana 5/4 haste is pretty good. Next is Kingdra, evolution of Seadra, 5-mana 3/3, 3 and double blue for a dragon with flying. You can pay 3 and double blue to have target permanent become the monarch. A king can choose between guarding his realm with his legendary body and terrorizing his city with his best soldier. Next up is Phanpy, a 1-white, 1/1 creature elephant. That is a big old Phanpy, but I guess elephants' babies are still big anyway. You may play Phanpy's power. I don't know what to make of that, but I would love to play Phanpy's power if I can say whatever power it is. But also it doesn't make too much sense, but you can take that as you wish and what you want it to mean in the comments. Very first time Phanpy broke away from Phyrexians, he found himself not much more than a pawn. He was confused and angry. Next is Phanpy's evolution, Donphan, right next to a little Phanpy next to him. The 4-mana double white 3/3 elephant with flash and flying. So we have a flying Donphan here. So I guess it's Dumbo. When Donphan enters the battlefield, exile target creature card from a graveyard. A perfect hunter. Don't miss the killing blow. Next up, we have Porygon 2 as a 4-mana artifact creature 0/4, and hear me out, I made this as a mirror because it kind of looks like a mirror. As Pion Skinning. I guess that means its name is also considered Pion Skinning, which makes sense because Porygon and Porygon 2 are similar named. You can pay 4 and tap it. Pion Skinning becomes a creature till end of turn. Next we have Tyrogue, a 1-mana 1/1 human rogue with flash and flying. Very, very good 1-drop. They cannot fight the cold, but I can fight them the hard. Next is Hitmontop, 1 white for an XX human rogue warrior with flash. Hitmontop's power and toughness are each equal to the number of creatures you control, so it's at least a 1/1. This could be a really strong flash creature in a white deck. Here we have Smoochum as a 2-mana Dimir 1/1 human wizard. Tap to destroy target creature with power 2 or less. That is an absolutely broken 2-drop. If you have only one of your breathers around, you cannot be destroyed by fire. If you can't be destroyed by fire, you'll just melt into the ground. Next up is Elekid, a white-red 2/2 for 2 with flying. When Elekid enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to each creature and each player. That is a really powerful broken 2-drop, once again. Next are the 3 elemental dogs, starting with Raikou. It is a 6-mana white-red 3/4 legendary creature elemental dog. Whenever Raikou, the Raikou Planeswalker, deals combat damage to a player, that player reveals the top card of their library. If it's a creature card, Raikou reveals it. Otherwise, that player puts it in their graveyard. Bonded. Next up is my favorite elemental dog, Entei, is a 6-mana 4/4 legendary creature. You pay X and red. Entei deals damage to each creature with flying, equal to the number of cards in all graveyards of the top X cards of your library. Okay. It doesn't make much sense, but we'll go with it. If you just as well lay down and die, it seems Entei is not even too worried. Next up is Suicune, a 6-mana blue-white 4/4 elemental dog, legendary. When Suicune enters the battlefield, draw a card. When Suicune attacks, you may tap target creature defending player controls. Solid card. There are many ways to survive in the labyrinth. And also the art looks strikingly like Suicune. Next is Larvitar, a Golgari 1/1. based on the colors green and black in the Larvitar. You can tap it to add green mana. Pretty good. You can pay a green and a black and tap it to gain life equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. So very, very good 2-drop creature here. Let's go ahead and skip Pupitar and go straight to Tyranitar here. It is a 6-mana, double green, double black, Golgari Elemental Dinosaur as a 3/3. When Tyranitar enters the battlefield, target creature gets +2/+2 till end of turn. Card can definitely end some games. 3/3 is a little bit low for 6 mana, but you can definitely see 2 Tyranitars there in the distance, and I like the art a lot. Some new kinds of scavengers are in need of employment. Now we have the last legendary creatures. This one is Lugia. This looks awesome. This art looks pretty close to Lugia. It is an Esper 5-drop, 3/4 dragon with flying. Whenever Lugia attacks, tap target creature defending player controls. Its wings are long and it can spin at the end of the Warp Plaza. And here is Ho-Oh. This is a fantastic picture of Ho-Oh here. 5 mana, white, red, green, and 2 for a 5/5 legendary creature dragon with flying. You can pay 1 and Naya colors to have Ho-Oh get +1/+1 till end of turn. Kind of a more expensive fire breathing, but a 5-mana 5/5 dragon, I'll take it for a Ho-Oh. A few dragons speak the language of Ho-Oh. Ho-Oh was named for its form. And at last we have Celebi, a blue-green 2/2 legendary creature, elemental wizard shaman, I should say. Whenever Celebi becomes the target of a spell or ability, reveal the top card of your library. You may put that card into your hand. Wow, that doesn't even say a spell or ability and opponent controls. You can target your own things, your own Celebi, let alone your opponent trying to remove this and getting a lot of card advantage. This card is broken. The first morning after the night before, it was believed that a single wise person would become as powerful as 100 shamans. That was a great one to end the video with. Let me know what some of your favorite cards were in the comments, and if you want me to do something else like this again, please click the like button to help this video reach more people, and subscribe to the channel to see future videos just like this one. And I'll see you in the next one.